All right, now
I
we are
guess it
live.
really depends.
Hello, gentlemen. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Would
No.
you please introduce yourselves and tell us where we can find your work?
Okay,
Gentlemen,
I'll go.
good
Oh,
evening.
Oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
go for it. No, you go.
Oh, okay. I am Iron Bear Jones. You can find me on Blue Sky, ironbearjones.bsky.social, or on my blog at ironbeargames.wordpress.com, where you can find me ranting about TTRPG stuff and chronicling my run through for a group of players for Triumph of the Tusk.
Ah, yes, Triumph of the Tusk. Tell us how that's going.
My players are enjoying it. That's what counts.
Ah,
I have issues, but we'll get into that on the blog. Because I'm due for another post in about 2 weeks when chapter 1 ends.
okay.
Guess I'll go
Next.
next. I'm Shane. Or Diceknights. You can't really find me anywhere.
Mhm.
I don't do blogs or anything like that. I am a pro GM, as much as I hate that term. I'm currently running Outlaws of Alkenstar, Triumph of the Tusk, and Sky King's Tomb.
Oh, God.
Finishing second book of Sky King's Tomb. Just finished the first book of Triumph, and just starting Outlaws of Alkenstar. I
wish
guess
you
you can
luck
find me on
with
Start
book
Playing
2.
Games. There you go. Yeah, cool. My players are loving all the games. I mean, I don't think they're as picky as GMs are. They just want to play.
Mhm.
And I do a lot of work to make it work. So yeah.
I've seen how much work you've done. I've seen how much work you've done with Triumph of the Tusk, so I'm quite impressed.
I
That's me.
am Nick Track. I just go by that. You can't really find me much of anywhere, but I'm occasionally popping here and there on Bramwell's channel.
And I am Bramble Bear, and I have got to wonder, where exactly are the vampires in the mega dungeon? I was promised 2 things with this AP, and immediately upon starting to read, I was told to, adjust my expectations once more. I'm going like, what? Is this a new thing? Is it you just bait and switch the customer with what you actually try to produce and what you market for the production?
Hello, did you read Wardens of Wildwood Book 3?
Wardens of Wildwood.
Hey,
I've never heard of that AP.
hey, there's vampires, just not for the players. They're in the backstory.
Ah.
One
Well,
one of the creatures we will interact with becomes a vampire and then sets off into the sunset, never to be heard again.
beyond the scope of the adventure, you say?
Giant flying jellyfish, you say?
Ah,
Oh my
yes.
god.
The thing that amuses me the most is that we have this all-powerful pre-Earthfall being that actually gives us a divine gift, essentially, and then leaves. I mean,
Wait,
like,
but the divine gift is giving you water breathing and feet to fins in an AP where the PCs have been told in the player guide that aquatic ancestries are not appropriate.
I see an aquatic ancestry or two right here on the landing page.
Yeah.
Surely they have their
Maybe
place.
maybe that's because they want that divine gift to mean something, right? Like if you could already swim and breathe water and then you get this divine gift.
You're like, oh, okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah, that maybe they're setting that up. There's gonna be a flooded level of the dungeon, oh gee, I'm glad we got that divine gift.
Oh,
if we
perhaps
didn't actually attack it and try and kill it.
I suppose in that vein of thought, we shall also have boat combat.
Mm.
I do notice that Paizo tends to not be very good about the rewards they give players. So they kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They
Temper
kind
your
of,
expectations.
yeah, they kind of force their terrible rewards to be relevant.
I think that it's kind of hard though, in that like most people run with some form of like either automatic bonus progression or automatic room progression.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's pretty sad playing the module and the treasure is a +1, armor or a +1 weapon, which is effectively nothing if you're running either of those systems.
Ah,
And
yes.
I don't really know how. So I usually try and add something a little bit, make each of them a specific weapon rather than just a +1. But yeah, the treasure there is often pretty underwhelming.
Oh. As much as we can be scattered through the beginning of this discussion, we should probably talk about what happens at the start of Shades of Blood.
I believe that we are hired by a lizard lady astrologer who is nothing like the actual other NPC astrologers, and she's been given this grant money from Andoran, and Andoran is doing this sort of cultural reform dealy where they are giving away money to the masses just to get every type of research possible. They're getting agricultural research, they're getting scientific research, they're getting military research, anything that their citizens can produce with this sort of stimulus that they're giving their people. And for some reason, Andran's money found its way all the way out here to one astrologer in particular, and she is on the verge of seeing a great astrological event that's going to appear in the sky very soon, and she wants to witness it. And in order to do that, she'll need the help of adventurers to help her clear out some things with either the Aslanti Observatory or simply getting some chores done in the meantime, because who knows where her assistant went off to.
Yes, and that makes up the bulk of the first chapter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until the
Basically.
rain falls, the shadow rain falls, and gives the players a sense of real danger afoot. Something is wrong as the sky is enveloped in shadow and shadow creatures begin to attack people in Talmander's bounty.
See,
That's kind of neat. I like that.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that part is kind of neat, but the first part is very sort of Animal Crossing to me. Like
Well,
people don't really sign up for these games to do chores, right?
Well, the thing that gets hinted at a lot is that there are numerous people missing, and there are
Mm.
continuously people missing. In fact, every month people go missing on a schedule, and no one does anything. So this could be anyone from dock workers to transients to townsfolk. Literally, people are just being abducted at seemingly random, and the mayor is like, well, it just is that kind of town. And I'm going like, why does this mayor keep getting elected?
And that is essentially book one. I mean, chapter one.
What? Book one already? We're done? Oh, thank God.
Which it does pretty much note you can kind of skip, right? You can skip all the chore stuff, and it's like, I guess you've just devoted pages and pages to telling us all
Yes.
these different chores, and then you say, oh, you can just skip it. It's like, honestly, if it's that meaningless that you can just skip it, why not devote pages to actual, evocative, interesting material? Like this is a whole new location, basically. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
you're new, if you're new to Pathfinder with Pathfinder 2.
So
This was a
let's
chance to introduce the area and the history, and it's just nothing. You're just doing chores. It's so disappointing.
so
Well, it's the same thing
let's
with like Sky King's Tomb. It started the same way, and I think that the reason they do that is to like introduce subsystems early to
Mhm.
show a brand new player who's never played Pathfinder, like, hey, this is what influence is. Hey, this is what this is.
Oh wow,
Hey,
I
this
hate
is
it.
Yeah, but
well,
I feel Sky Kings actually did a better job of it in that the actual little chores, the jobs you did,
Mhm.
were individually more interesting than what you're doing here.
100% agree.
What
These are just so mundane. Like, absolutely, hey, we're heroes. Why are we doing this stuff?
Would you like to go fetch some food, please? Go
Yeah,
help us on the farm. Like, do you
like
want to
at
help us
least
transfer some supplies? No.
at least in Sky Kings you were looking for a lost child in a dangerous area, or a crab that's run rampant, or there's a
Lady
a
Shimmer
cafe owner
Snips?
that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's hiring you because of food poisoning, very suspicious food poisoning. So there's a bit of it's actually interesting stuff. Or the guy whose barn is apparently haunted. Um, it's not that. That's not that, like that here. This is really really straightforward.
Yeah.
Can you go fetch this? Can you go do this? It's like, do I
And
look like a
the
servant?
yeah, and the encounters are the most boring,
Yeah, exactly.
bare bones encounters that you could run. Like, do you want to fight a snake? Do you want to fight a lizard? Do you want to fight a bigger lizard? Do you want to fight some rats? Do you want to fight some spiders? Like,
So
no, dude.
let's
I
compare it.
don't. I don't want 10 encounters of
Let's
just yeah.
let's compare it to Troubles in Notori, because that's what I think this really amounts to, is that they're trying to get all of these things out of the way that really should have been kind of like a separate prelude to the actual adventure. The same way that they did Abomination Vaults, they had Troubles under a Tory and they had Troubles in a Tory. But Troubles in a Tory was way more interesting than these introductory quests too, and Trouble Under a Tory had all those encounters but bunched together to get up to like a little dragon. And that was
That
essentially it.
wasn't a little dragon. that was
No.
that was an end of party dragon.
It was little.
But yes, I don't find any of this engaging, and just because you're like going, hey, we found some Aslanti armor, and then it's going to come to life and you're going to fight it. It's like, because we found Aslanti statues. That's like, okay. And then you find the engine. Like, I sure. Are they going to carry these threads the entire way? I
Well,
don't know.
that was my thoughts on it. Like, is this they're trying to use this as a way to introduce you to various important NPCs?
Yes.
But I just don't trust them anymore that these NPCs are going to be important at all. They're
Or in
like
book 2.
obviously these. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, okay, if these are going to be important, but because I feel that this town it's not like Abomination Vaults where it was literally 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
This town is quite distant from the mega dungeon. I don't know that my group are going to be sailing back and forth between the town and the mega dungeon.
So
They're going to
So
be camping.
take
so
the
if
engine
that's
with
the
you.
yeah, if that's the case, like what are they doing with the engine? Because I think they're gonna make you go back and forth consistently.
I think they're
Mm.
going to give it legs as an upgrade, and then it's going to have like little spider legs like these clockwork things they have on the borders.
So is my idea that I had like 3 weeks ago that by the end of the campaign that thing's just gonna turn into a giant mech?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm telling you, the reason why they have the Aslanti engine is because the Dark House, instead of the Lighthouse, like Abomination Vaults, you're going to put a lens or something onto the engine, and it's going to shoot light or something at the Dark House. Eventually, the engine is going to be what
Oh,
ends the the thing, kind of like the lenses at the bottom of abomination vaults are used
I think
against. Okay, go ahead.
I
History
think it's
doesn't
50,
repeat itself; it rhymes. Ugh.
I think
Yeah.
it's 50-50 whether that engine will ever be mentioned again.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
but
that's sort of how I feel too. Because like you're just gonna get so absorbed. You should get so absorbed into the mega dungeon that the Aslanti engine is something that pops up in like book 3.
so why
I, th-
why do we only make it to the entryway then? Why isn't it like abomination vaults where we get floors 1 through 4 and then 5 through 8 and then 9 through 12 or 11?
I
Because
guess it depends on people's definitions of what a mega dungeon is, right? How many levels is a mega dungeon? I think maybe they're just going to do maybe 6 levels, 7 levels. It won't necessarily go down 10 levels.
I'm going to imagine that they wrote this adventure, realized they only had like 6 levels, and had to pad it out with a bunch of shit.
See, I don't buy that because Luis Loza is the creative director for this. He is the genius that did Fists of the Ruby Phoenix. Why would he allow something like that? I mean,
Well, he also got the capital of Andoran wrong on page 1, so I don't know what to tell you.
But he did Fists of the Ruby Phoenix. How could he do this to us?
I don't actually mind a shorter mega dungeon. Like to me, a mega dungeon's probably just like 3 or
That's
more levels, right?
that's not a mega dungeon. That's a regular dungeon.
No, I don't know. Not anymore. I think by the old definition, yeah, that would be a regular dungeon. But you look at the size of regular dungeon nowadays. They're tiny, like sort of 5 or 6 rooms, and they go, okay, that's a dungeon.
Okay,
But
bigger
I
than
still think,
average dungeon.
but I feel like playing Abomination Vaults really dungeon fatigue sort of set in like towards the end of that. So I'd be happy with a smaller dungeon if it's more evocative. If it's more than just here's a closet-sized room with a thing that you can fight in it. Here's another closet-sized room with a thing you can fight in it. I want weird rooms with things that players can interact with. I want people that they can talk to. There should be a lot of varied encounters.
Well,
I
especially
don't
since
have
the
faith.
Aslanti were locking people in like time at prison. I would hope there are some very interesting, cool interactions that can happen through that. Hope.
Like I feel like even in AV, there were a lot of encounters with intelligent creatures,
Yes.
which would actually say in the text itself, it will talk to the players, but will soon grow tired of talking and attack. That's like, oh, why? Why does everything need to attack? Let them actually. There's enough encounters in here. I think it's them stubbornly chasing this need to create enough XP to get to the next level. It's like.
Just make the encounters worth more XP or take it down from 1,000 to 500 per level. That makes it so much easier.
And I mean, you get the XP for bypassing the encounter. If you talk to the creature,
Yeah,
you've still bypassed the encounter, right? You should still get the XP. I mean, I don't run with XP, but I mean, if I did,
Neither do I.
Yeah, me either.
I do, and I still believe in halving the requirement. 500 EXP is enough to show that the players deserve a level, especially when you make most things worth 10 or 20 at a time. Only very few things are worth like 80 XP or 100 or 120, and those are usually social encounters and subsystems.
And then after that the shadow rain thing, that's when you travel to the island, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
The
and
problem.
you do.
Oh, go ahead.
You do a bunch of mundane encounters that don't matter
Mhm.
at all to get there, that is just there to fill out space. There's like literally 9 of them. They are all just CR 0 -1 1 creatures that are your bare bones basic. It's just waste of time nonsense.
And
And
again, this is an ancient civilization, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where are the like surface ruins to explore. Where's the foreshadowing? You know,
I asked that actually with the Lizard Observatory. She says that the
Mm,
Islanti Observatory is so much better than her equipment. Why doesn't she just make operations out of there? Why does she need her own
mm,
observatory if those equipments and things are so superior that she's going to use them anyway?
like this like even little things like instead of a boar is so boring. Why not take one of the use what are they, the chupacabra, the entry to the cave,
Mm-hmm.
have them encounter that maybe it's escaped from there, have a collar on it, maybe make it a weak one so it's a little bit less powerful, right? And then you're foreshadowing something. It's like, where did this come from? Look, it's been domesticated. What the hell? That's weird. Do more evocative encounters. This fight an insect nest, fight a boar, fight a snake, fight a lizard. And it's been done before, and it's been done so many times. It's so boring. That's my issue with it. And
Well, level
It's
yeah,
1,
lazy. It's what it
mm,
is. It's
mm,
lazy.
they should not have
mm,
started it at level 1. They should have taken like what they were doing with
Running for the
Warrants of
tusk.
Wildwood, Triumph of the Tusk, and also, just start at level 3, level 5, and actually have players that aren't, like made of
Right,
paper.
because like vampires are scary. They are tough creatures to face. The one vampire you face in Triumph of the Tusk is actually like a tough fight. But that's the problem. Like they
but
they
even
painted themselves into a corner either of designing low level vampires, which they clearly didn't do,
Yeah.
or being like, haha, you're not going to run into a vampire because they're a CR6. Like,
mm,
okay,
yeah, but I mean, I feel it's yeah, you're right. They could have created. I mean, the system lets you put weak templates, elite templates that you can create. You can level down a creature. There's really no excuse you couldn't.
you could have used a
Like,
vampire servant, which is
yeah,
CR2.
yeah, thin-blooded vampires. There's lots of things they could have done. Weakened vampire, like from I don't know. There's lots of things they could have done.
They
Instead of
could
these
have
really
made
vanilla.
they could have made like the Aslanti robots and stuff. They could have made them rusted. They were
Mm,
on the ocean floor and dug themselves off since like
mm.
Earthfall and whatnot, but they said like nope, straight up animated armor.
I mean, I do like the idea of the animated armor. That's probably the most interesting encounter on here. But even that just feels, yeah, it feels phoned in. This whole first chapter just feels really shit. The fun's going to begin once we get to the mega dungeon. Let's just roll on some random encounter tables and make a chapter out of it.
So like
Now
Spore Wars. Oh, go ahead.
those animated armors weren't variants, were they?
No.
They're just weak creatures.
I just like the picture. That's what I like about it.
So just like Spore Wars, the first book is just kind of there. This is actually going to be a 2 AP mega dungeon. Is that what you're saying?
That's what it feels like. I mean,
Well,
I'm going to change mine up like crazy. I always start at second level, even if it's a first level adventure. So I always have to do a lot of modification anyway.
see, I'm not happy with that when they do, like they say they're going to do 3 book APs, but what they're really doing is 2 book APs with an
Yeah,
introductory
completely.
book that
Oh, I'm
takes.
not
Completely
happy about it.
pisses me. It's awful.
I'm not happy about it either. But
Yeah.
I mean, if
I've
that's what
already bought the book, so I either waste it or change it.
I said, the same thing on the official forum, straight to James Jacob, and it's just like, why did you have this book that had nothing to do with the AP? It was an advertisement specifically for Tarbafon.
It's okay. It's not a spoiler for me. I guessed it with 100% accuracy.
God. So now we know all about Talmonder's bounty and all the people that live there. We officiate a wedding of all things. We get, we do everybody's chores and whatnot. Why do we have a bond with the people here? I mean, what is it that we're going to get from the town itself that we won't get in the mega dungeon?
Right? Like they're just subsistent farmers
Right,
and
who don't have
fishermen.
access to the sun. An agricultural community that just kind of Futz is off. Oh well, the sun is blocked. Our livelihood is dead. We'll go about our day. It literally says in chapter 2, it's just like the people of Talmander's bounty just kind of adjust. There's no increased use of resources. There's no mention of any lanterns being kept on all day, all night, just because, people need to be able to see. And they don't say what happens to their farms or anything else like that. They have livestock that need to be kept on a routine and a schedule. Will chickens even lay eggs? I mean, like, it
That's
seems
beyond
like
the scope of this adventure.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, there
God.
definitely should have been
Hmm.
some kind of atmospheric change, and there wasn't.
People, Nictorac said this. They are medieval peasants and whatnot. The sun is gone. A lot of them worship Sarenrae. Sarenrae is one of the most popular religions for humans. And it's just like, no sun.
My God, has forsaken me.
No one's getting down on their knees and begging Sarenrae to help them.
Yeah. So the
And Kira's
PCs
right
trek
there.
through.
Kira's right there. She's smiling. This bitch is smiling at me, going like, this is a nice town. I wonder what would happen if I ruined it.
And it's even worse if this is a post-God's Reign game.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. All this stuff is happening because of the Shadow Tower. Nothing is affected by God's Reign at all?
Well, beyond the scope of this adventure, after a bunch of completely useless encounters just to pad out XP, the players find Kazamot's Cavern, where they encounter a bunch of were creatures.
I like that name, Kazamoth's Cavern. I feel like it's Five Nights at Freddy's. I have a good feeling we're about to see some furries.
I do actually
And-
like the whole werebat
Yeah.
lycanthropy thing.
And he's
I
well
think
drawn,
that-
too.
So I mean, that, for me, that kind of fills the where are the vampires niche for me. That like we don't get vampires yet, but we have these cool werebats. This werebat cult.
Werebat Cult. I actually had a supplemental adventure on Empires of the Ghouls that I posted into the general and whatnot with a screenshot. One of the encounters is set up exactly like that, and they too are a Darrow cult of Kazamot. And there's even a giant bat encounter in that. There were a lot of similarities. No. There were just so many similarities between that Kazamot's adventure and this one.
We'll fix what ain't broke, right?
That's one way to say you ripped it.
Well, I wonder about that because Kamasots in general is a mythology thing from, I think, Mesoamerican mythology.
Okay.
So, I don't know that there's a whole lot of places you can go with, like, an evil bat god that's centered around human sacrifice.
But why use the Darrow in both of them?
Yeah, that's where it gets a little suspect.
Yeah,
well,
that's
a little suspect.
And why use a huge circular room for the giant bat encounters?
I mean, oh well.
Yeah.
So, does this first cave system that you enter into give the dungeon feel?
No.
So I would say it suffices enough for what a dungeon is now categorized as.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really hard to say, right? It's really going to depend on the next book, at least, to really know whether they're going to come through on the promise of a mega dungeon. I mean, if the next book is also just 2 levels, and yeah, and for me, again, it's not really the quantity. It's not really how many levels. It's how interesting the levels are.
Yeah.
Like, are they varied, or does it just feel like this is just more of the same? Because that really has to be. Like, I did a lot of work in AV to really differentiate each of the levels. Like, there is some already baked into it, but I think it really should feel like you go down the stairs and you know you're in a different level now. There's a kind of very different feel to each level. Otherwise, it just starts just feeling all the same, right?
Well, the atmosphere
Yeah.
was a big pickup for Abomination Vaults because every
Mm,
level had its own personality. Like the one I remember the
yes.
most is the Ghoul Library. That was
Oh, that went on
awesome.
forever. That went on forever.
Yeah.
It
Oh
was
yeah,
just,
that floor is
yeah,
great.
My
yeah.
players decided to go through all the doors while they were being chased by ghouls. More ghouls
Oh,
kept coming. And they decided that they were going to lock themselves in the last room, and that's where the head ghoul was. And she was making her little flesh Belcora statue.
Mm. But yeah, so I'm hoping that they come through on that. Like, yes, it feels a shame that this module, this book in particular, feels like I almost could have skipped it.
Yeah, that they
well,
have been doing that.
the way that they design these books, knowing that they have people that can jump in and out of them,
Oh, come on,
we probably won't even
come
get.
on. No one does that. I don't care what they say. No one is doing that.
But James
No one is
Jacobs
Apparently,
buying.
wouldn't lie to us.
apparently so, because that's what they say
Mm,
they do these things. They design
yeah,
them
that
in a way that you could pick up book two, never have played book one, and have a satisfying story, quote unquote.
who does that? Come on,
Yeah.
really, realistically, who does that? No one does that. Yeah,
Uh,
it's such a fucking
According
cop out.
to the lead creative
Mm,
designer, that's what they designed with the intent of.
Yeah, well,
mm,
he's
yeah.
not gotten it right even on his own adventure that he spent nearly 35 years cooking on. So, I'm not really one to trust him anymore.
All I'm gonna say is that some people also believe that the Earth is flat.
Throw shade, why don't you? Hey,
Shades
Shades of Blood. There we
blood.
go. We got the title drop, people.
Nailed it.
Oh,
Yeah. Do
I'd be interesting to hear what. I don't think I've really read enough of the last chapter of this book, but I'll be interested to hear what your guys' thoughts on the sort of most evocative or interesting encounter in this book.
uh, most interesting encounter for me was definitely talking to the old cultist lady and her just straight up saying like, "Hey, I used to head this cult, but now I'm not anymore. Help me kill the werebat guy, and I'll take my half of the cultists combined with you. We can overthrow them together." That at least felt a little bit better than
Mm,
the whole like, "Hey, there are 14 people locked up here," and I'm going like 14 people. That feels like all the dock workers. That feels like that would be noticed. Or say, like the room that was the garden. The garden supplanting vegetarianism in a cult that eats people and regularly harvests people for their blood and bodies, and then gets rewarded by Kazamoth, the evil god of lycanthropy, with moonflowers, which suppresses or outright cures lycanthropy.
Yeah,
That
that to
did.
me was so weird that you would even be willing to like cure the lycanthropy at all. Wouldn't why? I don't understand.
Also, Rami has an Ion Stone on him in the artwork, but in his inventory, he does not have an Ion Stone. I just noticed that.
Well,
It's a very
Oh.
nice looking ion stone too. It matches his pants.
Are you sure? Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a thought bubble.
A thought bubble. I really want to see Luis Luza's outline on this one. Because I know something had to have been cut if we got something like this for book 1. He's not the sort of person who would do something like this. At least not by choice. I mean, he's... what he did with Despair on Danger Island and whatnot makes me think that... Oh, let's see here. Ryan says, Ion Stones make me laugh because I think they originally said ingest, and I thought you eat them and felt dumb. No. They're not pills, Ryan. Oh, God.
tasty. This one tastes like battery acid.
This one tastes like disappointment.
Another
are
thing
you
that I
my-
noticed. Another thing I noticed in this, right? You've finally got these big open rooms, right? Instead of these little closets.
Yeah,
And they
this-
still put all the encounters in the little tiny rooms. What the,
I see
what
that,
the hell,
yes.
man?
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Well, Paizo
Oh,
does
I know.
love their murder closets.
And then they give fucking all of the like Triumph was really bad for it. They have all these little tiny rooms, and then they give all the enemies longbows so that they can experience their volley.
It's so silly. I question how it is done. Do they make the map for? They must make the map after, and then just be like, "Oh well, I already wrote the creature for this encounter." I sometimes don't get it.
No, I think that's exactly what happens.
And I think there's a they design for realism, right? That this is about how big a room would be, if we're talking in real life. But it's a game. Make the room make the room bigger. Make it interesting.
Right.
Have interesting things in it that make the combat interesting. Difficult terrain, obstacles to move around, things to push over, things to interact with during a combat. But no, we just get basically tiny empty rooms. It's my biggest frustration with.
The greatest compliment to fantasy is always convenience. If it's not convenient, then it's not much fantasy. You're trying too hard to make it too real in that sense. Like, why go for accuracy when you can go for what works? Ooh, Ryan says Piazzo AP bingo card. Norgerber serial killer, demon disguised as an elf, an NPC that is meant to be romanced, weirdly designed rooms. Ah, yes. Especially the first one and the last one. I agree, Ryan.
Hey, there's no doors that lead into a little short corridor ending at another door. That's
Yeah, Abomination
Is
Bolts
there-
was pretty bad for that. We would eventually just have. What's behind this door? Is it a monster or is it a door? Place your bets.
So once they defeat Romney, what's to keep them from going further into the dungeon besides buying book 2? Because there's no barrier here, there's no door to keep you.
That's beyond the scope of this adventure.
It's the exact
Let-
adventure.
let's-
It's literally the
literally-
hallway we need to go down.
Yeah, but it's literally beyond the scope of this adventure. It's in the next adventure.
Oh, God.
Okay. The idea that there are like vampires and creatures trapped in time stasis, and the like whole premise is that this person is trying to like
Find
get
their
lost love
boyfriend.
or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Who wasn't really their boyfriend, but was the person that groomed them and turned them into a Strigoli, an Italian vampire.
Right. So we're just now playing a game of, follow the vampire as they give us, little snippets of Aslanti tech throughout the way. And they're just marrying the two ideas. in theory, cool. I hope it's executed well in the next 2 books.
I mean,
I
that's.
I think it,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this is totally unrelated, but it's something I was looking at. I think it's really funny that they go to the trouble of giving you the option to toggle these tarps on and off on these stasis chambers, and all of them are empty apart from one.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Well,
so
what
funny.
if?
It's like, yeah,
What if?
there
What
could
if?
have been really cool things in each.
Exactly. Maybe
It's so
that's.
funny.
Maybe that's space for the DM to go like, oh, I want creatures in these tubes.
Wait, is that the doctor's hand in there? What the hell?
It's kind of like the stasis room in AV, right? They had all these really weird creatures in it. That was kind of cool.
Right, and
Except
those are
this
for
one, there's just
teleporting
all,
later.
But hey, we're doing another mega dungeon with stasis chambers. We're doing another mega dungeon with towers and a fishing village and
A
oh god,
lighthouse instead of a
oh
dark
god.
house.
I just thought it was funny, for time and effort, right? That what's the point? And having it so you can remove all these tarps if there's absolutely nothing to look at in each chamber. It's just funny. It's just wow. I mean, it's neat. It's really neat.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
love it when they animate. To have options like that. Like I do a lot of that with monk section tile triggers.
So
But it's just funny in this case that there's just nothing in all of them.
I'm pretty sure at least 2 of the 3 of you asked, how do you mess up a mega dungeon before this came out?
Yeah.
So, how do you mess up a mega dungeon, gentlemen? They said so themselves, mega dungeons are easy. That's why we went with this. I think that was Rue's exact words.
I think you
Yeah,
messed
but
it
then
up.
when you hear how they play, that often it's literally just
Mhm.
combats, right? They skip all of the social stuff. That's
Yeah.
why mega dungeons are easy because it's basically just a corridor with fights in it. Um,
It's easy for
Like-
a GM, I would say,
Mm.
too, especially
yeah.
if you're
Okay.
an inexperienced GM. Mega dungeons for the GM, I think, are fine. They can be scary for new players, but for a new GM, I would say like Abomination Vaults is probably the best way to teach you how to GM.
I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, 'cause you got guide rails, right? You know exactly what you need to prepare for, more or less, because they're constrained physically by the walls and the corridor. The corridors. You
But
kind of
not
know.
by the players
okay.
panicking and going into the next rooms.
Chain encounters will happen with inexperienced players or people who are prone to panic. So yeah.
Whereas in something like, well, pretty much any of the other ones, like Triumph or even Sky Kings, you can kind of like, oh, well, we're not going to go here. We're going to go here instead.
And
They've got
you,
this
as the
whole
GM,
method.
panic, and you're like, "Wait, I didn't prepare for you to go over here yet. Fuck, shit."
No, I've prepared for everything.
Yeah, you gotta. That's why I did odd levels and Quaid did even levels, and we kept switching off whenever they went to different levels. That way we could be fully prepared for what was coming.
Wow.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Ryan says, I feel like exploring Kazamot's role and being vampire themed should be something that isn't a mega dungeon.
Yes. I agree with that. I think that could have been a really interesting story. That could have been a very good AP that wasn't necessarily tied to like the mega dungeon that we've only seen like the
The
lobby of.
entryway. The entryway.
So,
Intake.
are we using this AP as a vehicle to introduce more Aslanti tech into Galarian?
Well, Andoran does want relics, and we know Andoran is going to be involved in that Cheliax war because the two hate each other, and Andoran looking specifically for Aslanti relics through this lizard folk astrologer. I say yes.
I mean, they have to plant the seeds for like, Starfinder eventually being a thing. Even if it's hundreds of years away, like, I imagine that's kind of what they're doing here.
The gap pretty much cinches that. The gap means you don't have to explain anything. They said that
I guess
specifically.
that's fair, but that they still did Iron Gods, so
Eh,
I know nothing about Starfinder. I really need to try.
You
I
will.
really need to play Starfinder.
You will. This is the same time slot I'm going to be doing that Murder in Metal City thing. I'll be sure to let you know when it starts.
Ah, cool.
It'll be a whole level 1 adventure in Abalon. I'm going to do my Abalon deep dive pretty soon, and everyone's going to be prepared.
but I don't know. I mean, what is the end goal of this AP for you to come out? Because they try to do that with these adventures of like something world changing or something changing in a portion of the world. What is happening here? Are we just getting Aslanti tech into the world?
And I think it's too early to tell.
I think it would be a good premise for Andoran to have that kind of advantage in a world war with Cheliax. How about you, Iron?
I think that could be interesting. I don't actually know a whole lot about Andoran or Cheliax.
Cheliax is ruled by Abigail Thrun III, the thrice damned ruler of, the House of Thrun. She is very much. Have you ever watched Black Adder?
Yes.
Okay, she's basically the Queen of England, only with more jewelry and more evil.
Ah, okay. I can see the vision. All right.
Yes, yeah. And Blackadder instead is like this big demon general who, not demon, devil general. And he, by comparison, is more beloved by the people than she is because she's considered wild, erratic, and prone to anger, while the devil is much more sensical and, thinks of the Commonwealth.
Okay.
Andoran is the birthplace of freedom. You know the Diceknights.
America.
Ah, yes. My experience with Andoran is just from looking at stuff for Osirian, and basically Andoran's existence kind of scared Osirian into not abolishing slavery, but like adjacent to that, because they were afraid of uprisings.
Indentured servitude.
Pretty much.
We'll call it student loans.
We get our first vampires as the last encounter of book 1.
Ah, yes.
Again, I don't mind. It's foreshadowing.
Well, what
I mean,
what
I
did we
guess that
actually
counts, but
What did we actually get from this adventure, this book, though? The Aslanti engine, is that it?
basically, I mean, like if we read the concluding this adventure section, Romy is out of the picture. What there is, they've learned everything from the tower. Even the PCs aren't able to check the research. I don't know, like
I'm
shadows
just
and stuff over Talmander's bounty, I guess.
I don't see how it's our problem, though, especially when we just get this brief visage of, the woman in the lower levels, and she's just like, well, bye, and then she breaks the thing, and we can't contact her ever again. It's just, what is happening with what's happened? Why would you stay after the lizard folk says that, oh, your job's done, and then she doesn't pay you? She turns around and basically says, like, okay, you're done. I'm going to go back home. She doesn't... What did she even promise to pay you? What was the promised payment that got you out here in the first place? Where's the grant money? Isn't she going to pay us that?
No, the payment was the treasure was the friends you made along the way.
The friends were terrible and sacrificed to a cult.
You know, I just thought of something.
Yes.
The whole shadows just kind of hanging over Talmandor's bounty, wouldn't that prevent her from seeing whatever celestial event that
Huh?
she wants to see?
Yeah, of
Yes.
course.
Yep. Why
I
do
think
we
that's
care?
part of the whole shtick. But yes, this is the entrance to the next floor of the dungeon, which is the beginning of the next book.
There's not
So
even
it's
a
like-
door.
So it's like, are we even going to get to the Aslantean at all? Are we going to just stay in the Mega Dungeon the entire time? Are we going back and forth to Tamander's bounty? I don't know. I hope the next two books are just Mega Dungeon. But if the next two books are just Mega Dungeon, then they've really, like, why do we have this Aslantean?
Well, take heart, gentlemen, because James Jacobs is writing book 2.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I don't know
you,
enough
Don't you feel
about
good?
Pathfinder celebrities to really know whether that is a good or a bad thing. I'm sorry.
Well, he's the lead developer of the narrative. He's one of the original guys, like Jason Bohm and Eric Mona.
Yeah, I know who he is, but just like I don't really know what he's written in the past to have anything to go by.
Spore Wars?
I don't. Mm.
Well, my thing is, all writers have like certain habits and idiosyncrasies that kind of creep into all their work. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but after a while being exposed to somebody's writing, you kind of know what to expect.
Oh, predictable?
Sometimes that's a good thing. Not necessarily. I don't know if I'd use that word, but yes.
Are you saying the next one's likely to not be good, or where are we going with this?
I think he's going to focus on things that don't necessarily pertain to the Mega Dungeon. That's usually how he does things. And that happened with Spore Wars as well. I also think that we may, in fact, see an infiltration subsystem. He seems to be big on that lately. Possibly to infiltrate the vampires with the premise that, like, oh, they're too powerful. You have to help them with their research to block out the sun.
Yeah,
that's my suspicion.
I think this intake map is the only thing here that I find actually interesting so far.
It does feel like this is the first bit of genuine part of the Mega Dungeon. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure what to expect moving forward. I would say most of this book is fluff that does not matter. And the content that is here, I'm not sure if it is good enough that it'll keep the story beats through 3 books.
I wish we could... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I still have hope. I still think that the next book is going to make or break this whole thing. Like, it totally depends where they go with the next book. This one has been pretty underwhelming. I still think it's an interesting premise. Yes, it's kind of been done before, but then everything's kind of been done before, but yeah, I think the next book is going to be absolutely critical to either, giving this wings or just letting it, just stay mediocre.
Well,
like we get 4 levels in the next book, I'll be happy.
We had mediocre in some of the other APs before, and it didn't necessarily damn, you know, like the entire adventure. It just meant that, you know, like, oh, like book 2 of Outlaws of Alkenstar, that's considered, you know, like mediocre all the way through, doesn't really have anything to do with the plot of whatnot. Book 2 of Curtain Call was just, oh god. You know, there are dead points in the adventure where it really shows that they're just trying to fill for that 3 AP model. That's all it is. And it just happens to be book 1 with Spore Wars and Shades of Blood.
It's an absolute. I don't understand the way they make them. I guess, like, to me, if I was in charge of it, and admittedly I have no real experience running a game company or anything, but I think, okay, so we've got these 3 authors that are going to write the 3 books.
Yes.
Why are we not creating a chat room immediately for the 3 of them and get them
we talked about
collaborating and
this.
talking and just working together from day bloody one? This
So-
is the direction I'm going. This is, I don't understand it.
They're
only
written in
meet
a
once.
siloed approach.
They
Yeah,
only
it's
meet once,
bizarre.
and they discuss who's going to take what NPCs, and from there they never talk again. Nor do they show the results of what they got. That's up to the creative director to put together. That's why I'm so confused why Luis Loza didn't share like this kind of unified vision between the 3 writers. And he has James Jacobs on the team. I mean, I would have thought that more care would have been put into it.
What do you think the purpose of siloing everyone is? It's such a weird,
Minimal.
'cause it's an adventure path, right?
Right.
It should
Minimum.
feel
Minimal viable product. That's what it is, because they have to get it up monthly. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, but more heads working on it, right?
No, you've seen 8 editors on a single book still make errors like the capital of Andoran. Still make errors like an NPC who was dead in one chapter, or an NPC that was 500 miles away suddenly appear back where they're supposed to be. We've done this so many times where it's just like, you can put bodies in the credits and say,
yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about, though, right? Like, an editor doesn't really care, right? It's not their story, it's not their baby. But if you've got 3 authors who are writing the books, right? They, on some level, they must care about what they're writing about, right?
I would hope so.
Yeah, and so they would have a vested interest in making the story flow. And hey, I saw in your book you've mentioned this NPC. I actually killed that NPC off in my book. So what are we going to do? We need to change the story somehow. Either you've got to remove it or I've got to keep them alive. They can have those kind of discussions because it's important to them. An editor doesn't care. An editor's literally just like, well, I don't want to minimize their job down to fixing spelling errors, but you know what I mean. It's not their baby, right? It's not they haven't come up with the story. They're really looking at it from a completely different approach.
Yes. Nick Durak has
But
mentioned that before.
So I really just don't understand this siloed approach. Like you say, minimum viable product, but obviously they still need to come out quickly. But then
What happens is
yeah, it's fucking weird.
So one author works on the book while another one is doing rules for an upcoming Lost Omens book, and then they're finished with their project, and these things are just happening at different times. The same project is happening 3 to 6 months apart through different people, and they are just
I mean, I guess I know how it does work. I'm just wondering why it works like that. I mean, that's all stuff that could be changed, right? That's not stuff that has to be that way.
Yeah,
It's just bizarre to me.
We've suggested.
We also know from Sin HHS, from her talking in the Curtain Call forums, that she finished writing her book 8 months ago, 8 months
Mm.
before it was released. So you're telling me that the book 3 of the book was finished 8 months beforehand, and they don't have the time to go through all 3 books and tie them together and, add a little fluff here and there?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like even casually, like if you've got 8 months, right? Even if you've got a Discord group with all of the authors, the creative lead, all of them are just in there that they can just pop messages back and forward. It just I don't know. It honestly makes me want to find fucking 2 other people to collaborate with and do an adventure path just to show this is how it should be
It's
done.
yeah,
Wouldn't
it's
you
not that
know?
hard.
Wouldn't you know that's exactly what Bramble did and succeeded within a month's time, assigning the other 2 portions of it to
Mm.
Iron Bear and Nictorek? I did the 3 AP outline model. I showed what it can be done, and I collaborated with people to help improve it. That's why I'm hoping to get out something, in summer, so I can actually show them for at least Starfinder. You, the layman can do this. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just
We
sad to me that
It is sad. But we pay the
we have
$30 anyway.
yeah, exactly.
not anymore. This will be. I mean, as much as I'd love to, get my hands on like some of this stuff as a basis to do my own thing. I've got to stop buying into this. I don't want to support it anymore.
I had all of my subscriptions for a very long time. Triumph of the Tusk was where I canceled all of it.
Mm.
I said, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah, Ryan
Because
is.
I like to.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say I like to have the hard copy because I prefer reading hard copy. So then I think, oh well, I want to get the Foundry module because it helps me sort of have a basis for what I want to do.
Yeah, but then you have
But
to
yeah,
purchase the PDF, and if you
exactly.
don't,
So I ended up buying everything 3 times, and I remember kind of laughing at Wizards, saying, "Haha, look at their stupid business model that you buy the hard copy, then you buy it on D&D Beyond," and I'm like, "Oh my god,
it's
Tiger's
why
no different."
I've just invested into Demiplane because
Mm.
I'm just keeping all of my books digital at this point, and I know they're going to keep their ecosystem, so I'm just doing that because I, I I don't know. I don't want to be a part of their subscription analytics anymore, and I want them to see that like people are unsubscribing because content is not good.
Well, I mean, I straight up can't afford. I just can't justify buying the hard copies anymore. Like
Yeah,
for me to get the Starfinder core book here is over $200.
Jesus.
With all the shit that's going on in the world, and that's likely to get higher. And it's
Yep.
just holy crap, man.
235% higher.
Mm. And it's
I
just,
love.
I mean,
Yay, smile. Haha.
So Ryan is
so
saying, I think what is happening is Piazzo is panicking and throwing out products as quickly as possible. They are not slowing down when they should, and Piazzo
hmm
doesn't want to seem anything like Wizards of the Coast, he assumes. And I do agree with what he is saying.
yeah, I
If
agree
they
with that.
made 3 adventures a year instead of 4, they would be in a much better position to provide more quality content.
I think all they need to do is be. I mean, because they're already quite open with like it's so weird. Like that's why I was so surprised that you guys got hit for those YouTube videos.
Oh,
Well, they
yeah.
seem quite generous with their stuff, like like what they let the Foundry team do, pretty much with all of the rules. And same with like was it Archive of Nethys just
Yeah.
has everything on there.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then
We were told. We were told in the email, and then we were told we abused that generosity. And then the same token, it was just like, you are a valuable addition to the brand. It's just like, what? What?
Yeah,
No,
it was
yeah.
an experience. I'll tell you that.
But
he liked the
so I'm like,
Starfinder
why
video.
it's like why don't they embrace like there's a very passionate community, right, for Pathfinder. I don't know why they don't like if this stuff comes out, it's worked on 8 months ahead of time, why don't they even an official sign up for become a playtester or something and actually playtest the shit out of these modules,
Yep.
so they can still do them really quickly, but actually have some experience of groups having played through them and shown them the pain points and what needs to be fixed or altered. It's just
They
insane to me.
believe that that is the
re
GM's job to fix.
yeah. They re-released Kingmaker 10th Anniversary Edition with broken kingdom rules.
Mm.
Ryan was saying that too. The remasters are disappointing because they don't go back to fix those kind of subsystems and mechanics. They
Yeah.
leave them broken.
When's Gatewalkers coming out? That's due to drop, isn't it?
Yes, it's coming out after next month, I believe.
Mm.
Because then they'll have all 3 Shades of Blood out, and then they're going to go into the Gatewalkers remaster. Glass Cannon did an excellent job of actually making that good, and they rewrote pain points of that. They said that the Arctic part of the adventure is completely changed.
I don't know enough about it.
But gentlemen, we have strayed. We have strayed so far. But what of this adventure? What if book 1?
There's not much to really talk about of this adventure, to be honest. It is really, I don't know. I'm glad I have only got the sunk cost of a PDF.
Yeah, I don't think I will buy the next 2 modules on Foundry.
All right. So I'll be picking that tab up then, because I am interested where this is going, and since James Jacobs is going to be writing book 2, I am especially have a vested interest in seeing where he is going to take this, because he's
I'll probably get the PDFs, but I'm not buying. I don't think I'll buy the hard copies or Foundry modules until I've seen the whole thing in its entirety.
Yeah, the PDF will be enough.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I have a hard time justifying the cost of a lot of these adventures, knowing now that my homebrew is as good or better than what they are producing these days. So it's like,
That's how I feel. Honestly, if you played in My Triumph of the Tusk, for example, just take that one, or Sky Kings, and then you played in someone else's who was just running it from the book, it would just be, you'd barely tell you're playing the same thing. Yes, the key notes are still there, but I just changed so much. Like in this, just even looking at Shades of Blood, right?
Yeah.
There's all the entire first chapter I would be changing. The whole thing. Even, I mean, I'm not as much of a stickler for canon as I guess other GMs. I mean, I like Galarian, but for me, I would much rather have Talmandor's Bounty be a more evocative place, built upon ruin, some ancient ruins or something. I would probably not use Talmandor's Bounty going forward. I would set up a base camp on the island.
correct.
Oh, that makes more sense.
And then you could shift any NPCs that they actually really enjoyed in book 1, give them a reason to go to the base camp so they can still keep interacting with those NPCs there, and they're not having to spend days of bloody travel.
Right.
Because what is it? It's 10 hours or something to sail.
Correct. Plus, you save 14 dock workers. Who's to say those 14 dock workers now won't go back and forth for you?
But yeah, I do think you need somewhere to rest outside of the dungeon. You need something to break up that dungeon fatigue. But yeah, having to you either have to hand wave and say, okay, there'll be no encounters between the dungeon and your base, between the dungeon and Talmandor's Bounty, or your rolling encounters. And I mean, it does even say that there are some encounters that happen as you're going back and forth, right? Like the flying jellyfish thing was one of them.
Well, flying jellyfish being the big lip alligator moment or whatever it is is just like it's gone as soon as it arrives. I mean,
Mm.
why did we even get it? We could have gotten this power through the engine, I think.
And I think it's the laziest of foreshadowing. How the guy on the boat hears that story about the jellyfish, as this legend, and then it happens. It's like that's so on the
There's
nose.
ancient tales of a giant sea beast that roams
Oh,
the
there it
island.
is.
Oh, hey, look, you found it.
We haven't seen it for hundreds of years. Oh, there it is.
I
Yeah,
frequently
it's a bit.
take people out on tours like this just to show it to them.
Mm. Yeah, so there's so much of chapter 1 that I would complete. I mean, I do like the Shadow Rain. I think that could have made a much stronger start if you had turned it into almost like a siege, right? Where
Mhm.
they arrive and there's a little bit of settling in, and then that happens, but it's more drawn out. So, people are barricaded in their houses, and you're like, oh, can you go and check on such and such down, and so it makes it more evocative than, oh, hey, can you go and fetch this basket of food, or I think I will probably do something like that, like really make the whole first half of chapter 1 that Reign of Shadows.
There was another thing. Rami's rival, let's get her name up here. Alzira, she never loses her divine power from Cazamots, even after losing his favor, nor does she go to Talmander's bounty afterwards for any reason. She just stays here perpetually. Also, Rami never goes into human form or goes to Talmander's bounty. These people are completely disconnected from their food source. I mean, it feels like none of them travel back and forth. They just have that special ritual or whatnot that brings people here with like, go to the island, and that's enough to make people like abandon their jobs and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's again, there's an interesting sort of skeleton here.
Yeah.
Looking at a lot of the art though, it's like, I don't know, those weird bloody Pokemon frog things. Were they Tormund shields or something? It's like, oh. The shadow scamps look cool, but yeah.
I think it's the same thing with Wardens of Wildwood. The bones are there, but the connective tissue is lacking.
Yeah.
That's a lot of them in a nutshell, to be honest. Not just wardens on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the ideas can be so good, and it can. I don't know. I feel like when we get the professionals working on things like this, how can the execution be so bad?
I wanted more flavor, like I was rewatching like Disney's Atlantis and stuff like that, and
Oh
looking at
yeah,
all of
yeah,
the
yeah.
like the background art of the Atlantean locations and stuff, and it's like, where's all that? Where's like why do the maps look so boring? Like where's all the cool ancient devices, and even the pictures of the ancient devices are like the hang on, where is it?
Well, you get the
I can't
engine.
remember what it's. The engine's kind of neat, but like a lot of the other stuff just looks so bland. It's I don't know. It's
You don't like the pin thing where you put your
no,
hand
I
on
don't
it.
like.
Yeah.
No, I just I don't know. And the whole puzzle thing is like, yeah, it sounds really good in theory, but I don't know. I've seldom seen puzzles go well in role playing games.
See, I had the same issue.
With puzzles?
Yes.
Oh, the 9-point puzzle isn't that bad, but I don't like how they display it.
I think that's kind of key to make that work in like VTTs in general.
Yeah.
Like, if you make it visually interesting, it's a little less jarring than the typical tabletop presentation of most puzzles, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess for me, it's more. I think the puzzles that I found work better is how could you describe it? Like maybe there's maybe there's a door with a like some kind of cracked lens in it, and they investigate and they realize, oh, it's because this lens is cracked, the door won't open. And then later on they might find a lens somewhere that's intact, and then they put two and two together. Oh, we found that door that had the cracked lens. Maybe we can spot. That's the kind of puzzle I think works.
Yeah.
And like when you're playing online, actually a literal puzzle where someone has to sit down and
because people's experience levels with puzzles vary vastly,
and it's also disconnect from the character you're playing, like because the puzzles
it's
tend
for the
to test
human.
test
Yeah.
the player knowledge and not the character knowledge. So if you're the genius of the group, but you're playing the dumb character, what do? Just shut up, or the opposite. If you just cannot get your head around puzzles, but you're playing
the smart
some
guy.
fight, and and then what do? Does it come down just to rolls, and then it's not evocative at all? So yeah, I just don't think puzzles are those kind of puzzles are not that great
I
in play.
I remember in Demon Queen Awakens that the Foundry team does. They do puzzles very well. They did like either a music puzzle or it was like a light puzzle in order to get into a room, and the light puzzle is completely done with like the light beams and the stuff like that.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did one when I did Tomb of Annihilation in 5e, and that was when I was first playing around with Monk's action tile triggers, where I automated I did a little standalone dungeon before we got into the jungle proper. And even then, I did a puzzle that was all. Oh man, I wish I could show you actually. That's really cool. But yeah, there were like lines on the map on the floor that kind of they would lead from the entrance door, and they would lead to different statues that had a sun and different stages of setting. So there was like dawn, noon, dusk, and then night, and lines went to each of the individual statues. And then there was just a poem. There was like a poem or something that sort of that sort of indicated the order of which to go to. And I'd actually automated it so as you move your tokens, when you went if you went off the correct line, it would automatically pause the game and make you make a save. But it was kind of cool because it was more of an environmental puzzle, right? Where they've got all these clues and they're figuring out. But even that, I don't know. I'm kind of getting sidetracked on puzzles. But yeah, I find puzzles they're neat in theory. They just don't really. I just don't think they often translate very well to the game.
Yeah, different forms of media have them hit different, especially since your audience can be one person, a group of people, or all the consumers at once.
Mm.
If it was for the individual, it would definitely be a different experience, but most people play with like 4 players. We have people like Will of America and Podfinder who DM specifically for their wives. Oh god, if something goes wrong in one of those games, they're going to be the first to hear about it. Can you imagine, like DMing for your wife and it's just like, well, honey, this doesn't make any sense. It's just like, why is this NPC suddenly alive again?
Don't ask too many questions.
It's just like, I will ask as many questions as I want, dear. It's a whole different kind of challenge when it's someone from your family or, like people you've known for like years and whatnot, compared to a group of randos, which is how I usually do things. And I do like introducing puzzles and riddles for that same reason. And Iron can attest to that. Iron has experienced my riddles before. They literally stop the game for 20 minutes.
I think if they're not locking progress and they could just be the chance to get something extra, like a little reward or something.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. But when you lock progress behind a puzzle, that can be.
Yeah. Well, I've seen them stop the game for 20 minutes until someone decided that the answer to the riddle was Fireball.
Yes, and Fireball works. Fireball is a valid answer. There are multiple solutions to riddles and puzzles. Like the 9-point puzzle, you can do that a bunch of different ways.
Yeah. I hope the rest of the books are good. I have hopes. The ideas that they've set forth are interesting enough. I hope they execute well.
Yeah, I'm still. I do like the. There was something to mention. I do like the. What's the blood magic called? Sanguimancy or something.
Oh yeah, all the blood spells in the back.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Very Dragon Age-esque. When they had
Like I don't
blood
know how good
mages.
they are, but but I like the the feel of it. It's very cool.
Well, gentlemen, I'm sorry to say if there's nothing more to talk about, I think we're done for the evening. Was there
Yes.
really so little substance in book 1?
Well, it was 2 chapters basically.
Oof.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I am not overly excited, so it has potential. It just requires them to execute properly.
But this was my most anticipated adventure path in a long time. I was planning on running it straight away. Upon reading the PDF, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go and run Outlaws of Alkenstar instead.
Yeah.
And I even know that one is going to require a bit of work. That's how kind of meh I thought the first book was.
For me, I think if I do run this one, I'm going to run it differently. Like I would have run Triumph of the Tusk as more of like a, like oriented towards orcs, and the whole Torrent Moot is more of like a dating sim. I think what would really help this, especially for the players, is that when they arrive in Talmander's Bounty, like you were saying, that's when the inciting incident hits. It's just like as soon as they get off the boat,
Yeah, make it just like an in media res moment.
Well,
Just
shit, you could have it as they're pulling in. They're not even
Yes.
off the boat, and they're arriving, and then it's just, what's going on in that town? There's rain clouds. There's this weird clouds over it, and
Right,
yeah,
right.
and just
And
arrive in a town in chaos.
yeah, that would be better. And at the same time that you're helping all these people, they're introducing themselves and what they do in town, and you just slap them in the face and go like, "There's no time for the subsystem. I need to save you."
It's almost like the Normandy landing in Saving Private Ryan, right? You're arriving, and that could be cool. Yeah, actually, I'm okay with that.
There's no time for the influence subsystem.
Yeah, I really hope they tone down this subsystem shit. It just feels, we need content. Let's put a subsystem in.
Right, right.
yeah.
And subsystems are not substance.
Well, even the writers of these APs don't like subsystems. I will tell you that because we have heard it specifically from the writers that they don't like the subsystems.
But they have no choice when the subsystem goes in. The subsystem, what did you call it, Iron? The subsystem's Surgeon General?
What did I say? I say so many disrespectful things. I'm not sure.
This one was not disrespectful. This one was witty.
But yeah, I don't really think I have much more to say about this AP until I have the rest of it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to give some suggestions to change it around. Aside from that inciting incident happening while you're pulling in or when you arrive, I think it's more important that you immediately go to the Aslanti Observatory, take out all those little zero encounters and whatnot. Make the inciting incident get you to level 2. Level 2 to 3, be the Aslanti Observatory so you cannot look at the stars but look directly at the tower and go like, there's our entry point. We have to get to that island. Do it like that.
That sounds way more exciting than what we got.
Yeah, and I didn't... all of us didn't really spend that much time deliberating on it, and we got something better. Like I said, the layman can do this.
Well, I mean, I don't think the writers are particularly anything but laymen, right? I mean, they're just, yeah. I don't think that there's anything particularly special about the people who write these modules,
Well, sir,
especially having read them.
if we can't put them on pedestals, what do we do with these
Mm.
writers?
Oh, on an unrelated note, Ian, can you post a link to your blog where you are discussing your triumph? I'd like to read that
Ooh,
as
yes, I
someone who
can.
is also running it.
There's only one entry, just like the intro. I wanted to save anything that I would say for the end of chapters because every time I start to write something new, some new issue kind of crops up, and I'm like, well, maybe I should just do all of this in one go per chapter just to save myself some aggravation.
Mm. I've often actually thought that I should do a blog, like kind of moaning and commenting on all the changes
Oh
I've
my
made
god.
to all the modules and stuff. But I think I'd spend way too much time in there.
It's cathartic.
Yeah.
It is cathartic.
And then people, I also feel like, then people will go, can I have a copy of that thing that you've done? And I'm like, then I get into this really weird territory. Well, the thing I've done is kind of using art from different sources and things. I'm like, I don't
Right,
know if
That's
that
I
you don't
really,
why
own, that you don't own.
yeah.
yeah,
And it's like, I mean, it's not that I don't want to share it. I just don't know if I legally can share it. Like,
that
I'm
was a lot
fine
of the
using.
stuff I did
Mm,
for Wardens too, where I was like, I can't really give this
Yeah.
to
It's
you. And like a bunch of the maps that I sourced, I like just ripped them from 1E that I found
yeah,
online. Like I can't give those to you. Like
yeah.
they're not.
yeah. I mean, I do the same. Like my Triumph, I started with the one from 1E, but then I went right through it in Photoshop, pulled all the labels off it, and widened it so it better fit a monitor, rather so it was more landscape rather than portrait. And I did a bunch of stuff to it, but ultimately it's still not my art, right? It still contains elements that I don't own, so I don't feel comfortable sharing it. And so yeah, and that's part of it. Like, I mean, I'd love to have like a collaborative group where all the GMs that are running a module are putting in all their resources that they're making. But
Yes.
yeah, it just gets into that real weird gray area where can we really share this stuff with one another because we don't actually own it. And especially with me doing this as a job, right, as a pro GM, which God, I hate that term. It's very risky for me to, I don't want to get labeled as someone who's doing that kind of thing, right? Or,
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad enough that I use a lot of AI that people have very
Oh,
strong opinions on. Not,
No,
don't be
it's a
ashamed of
tool.
that.
Use the tools that you're given. I have.
yeah. I mean, I'm not stopping using it, but I've had people come in and join a game and go, oh, you use AI, and I'm like, yep. If you don't like that, you're in the wrong game. But I can't draw for shit, so and I certainly can't afford to pay an artist.
Right.
So
It's
yeah.
$600 industry standard for a regular portrait. We're not going to pay
Mm.
that per NPC.
You know what I did the other night while I was watching TV shows? I generated 29 pieces of NPC art that were all unique for our up and coming Horizons of the Vast game.
That's
And I
really
gave
easy. Wow.
every single one of them additional personalities based on the minimal entries that were given to me.
The sentence?
Yeah,
The
so
one sentence that describes all
Yes.
of them? Yes.
The one sentence, I gave all of them backstories, all of them personalities. Yeah.
what's Horizons of the Vast?
Horizons of the Vast is Kingmaker in Space for Starfinder First Edition. I have converted it to Second
Ah,
Edition.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's amazing. Like some of the first thing I do when I decide I'm going to run an adventure path is open up Notebook LM and import all 3 PDFs and the player's guide and ask it to, like, even for Shades of Blood, right? I put in this one and go, give me a summary of chapter 1, including a list of all encounters, a list of all treasure, and it's just bang, seconds you've got it right, and then yeah, you can use ChatGPT to like and especially now that it remembers stuff, you can go, okay,
Yeah.
please remake these NPCs in my standard NPC format, which is, give me three words to sort of define their personality, give me a line on how better, ways to kind of role play them, visual descriptions, what do they want, and it just fleshes out every NPC, and it's like almost instant, right? You just
I
It's
did
so
that
easy.
with the
Yeah.
delegates in Spore Wars. It helps so much
Mm.
with the delegates, especially Elzerius.
and you have to, I mean, you have to get in there and make changes to it because it's definitely not perfect. But I
Oh
tell
no.
you what, it
No,
did
no.
a lot
Sometimes
of
it
the
says
groundwork for
help
me.
me in Russian. It just spits that out me for no reason.
I haven't had that one yet, but yeah, it's.
Help me!
But
I'm
yeah,
trapped in the computer. Help me!
it just I use it to because I try and do a lot of foreshadowing in the items as well. Like I said, I find the treasure really boring, so I often, I'll take the gold value of whatever they've found, and I'll make a new item, generate a really cool picture of it, and then I try to base it on Dark Souls. I don't know if you've played that, where a lot of the game's lore is in the items,
Oh
and
yes,
so I'll
yes.
have
The
I'll
Moonglow
have a
sword.
visual description of it. I'll have a visual description written there, a picture of it, and then like a lore drop on it, which they can learn. Like even items that don't need to be identified, I put the normal, like what it looks like and the picture of it in the unidentified version in Foundry, and then I'll put in bold, spend 10 minutes and such and such check to unlock further detail. And so they can do that, and then it will unlock things they've learned about it. So it's not really an identify, but I use that identify mechanic where I can have information hidden on the item. So
Yeah,
and I
and
do a
reveal.
lot of foreshadowing with it. Yeah.
See, I
Because I
like
find
things like that.
that in a lot of these modules, there's so much going on in the background that we as GMs get to read about that the players just never know. AV was
Yeah,
rife with that. There was so much rich history there that the
90% of the
players just
material.
never learn. Yeah, and so I did so much of that through handout and item descriptions, and so some players just don't even look at it. That's fine, but then the ones that do, yeah, it makes it so much more evocative for them because that's almost like a puzzle as well, right? Like they're,
Yes, I
oh,
would eat it
I
up.
read that. Yeah, and so yeah, the ones that get into it really get into it.
Oh boy, that is something I might try in Horizons of the Vast. I do like that.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of work, but I mean I really enjoy that side of the hobby as well. Like for me, working on the games is just as fun to me as actually running them.
hmm
So, yeah, so I mean,
I've had DMs that just read from the module.
oh God, I have too. I mean, I do a lot of seat filling for other GMs, and I cannot believe how some of these people can justify. Because I'm actually a very cheap GM compared to, like, I'm well below industry standard based on start playing games. But there are people on there charging like 35, 40, 50 US dollars per session, which just
Oh yeah,
blows my mind.
Oh
and
my
they have
And
gosh.
2,000 games run.
yeah, and I've played in one. I've played in a couple of the expensive GMs, and I mean, not to throw shade. Well, it is throwing shade.
It is Shades of
That
Blood. Go ahead and throw
I
shade.
don't, I don't know how they justify charging that much. Like the
People are
bar is
desperate.
just so low.
Players don't know any better is part of the problem.
Mm,
And Iron said
Like
so last night. People are desperate.
I joined a Sky King's Tomb game, right?
hmm
And and I was asking the GM what optional rules are we using, and they said, and I shit you not, he said, oh well, since it's it's about a sky tomb, I thought that we could explore. This was before Starfinder, when they were still in playtest phase, early playtest phase. I think just the first couple of classes were out. He goes, since it's all about a sky tomb, I thought it'd be really cool to explore using some of the Starfinder classes in addition, and I'm like, what?
What? What?
have
No,
you
honey.
have you read the module?
First of all, it's
There-
underground. Secondly,
Yeah.
that stuff is in the future.
And it's like, and I was like,
boy.
wait, so I could be playing a dwarven fighter, and the guy in my party is playing someone with a fucking assault rifle, a
Yes.
plasma rifle or something. I was like, this is, dude, what do you want? Yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that. It's like the bar is so low, and I actually have my player, like some of the players, like one guy that one of my players plays in 3 of my games. He's saying, you need to charge more, dude. You need to charge more. I've played in so many games with other people. You need to charge more. Yours, yeah, but it's
What do you do? Like 20?
no, I'm on 15. I've actually
15?
just raised it. I've actually just raised it to 20.
Oh, you're
But
budget. You're a budget GM.
yeah, and it's I don't know. I mean, it does all right for me because of the exchange, right? It's like 20 is basically almost 40 in my Monopoly money here in New Zealand. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. I would. It's hard for me because I never wanted to be a paid GM. Like, I'd always thought it's turning a hobby into a job, and I never wanted that. And then when I sort of had to quit my corporate job that I was doing, because my partner got a job out in a rural area.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I going to do? I don't want to be like phone based and just and just a soulless corporate job. And then I was trying to explore what are the things I actually like doing. And then I realized, and then a guy I knew was doing this, and I thought, man, but he's such a shit GM. How can we pay him to play?
That's great.
Always
And,
devalue people when evaluating your own life.
yeah, that's what I thought, and it was like, this is crazy. If he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's always been a dilemma for me though, is how much do I charge? Because I don't want, like, I want people to still have fun, and I feel like if you're paying like $40 a session, your expectations are going to be a lot higher. Well, I would have thought.
It's the difference between takeout. I mean, if you pay $40 for a burger as opposed to $10 for a burger, the expectations are definitely going to be different.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not that I don't value myself, but it's just I still want it to be a fun hobby, and I know like shit's getting hard for people, right? So I don't want people to get locked into a campaign and they really want to play, but they can't quite afford it. But so they're cutting back on other good things in their life just to be able to do it. It doesn't sit well with me. So I try and keep my prices as reasonable as possible.
Yeah,
even though
that's not your problem.
Keep getting 20, like, or do you need to start charging people more?
That's a personal question we should not be asking.
Yeah,
that is
that's
no, I was trying to think how to answer it. It's not that I don't can't. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Like, I mean,
because you should value yourself to like market value. If you think you're doing way more work than the other GMs, then you could probably get some more money for it.
That's no, there's no doubt about that. But yeah, I just as every time I've thought about putting my prices up, I just feel bad about it. But yeah, I'm doing all right. I mean, I just want to expand out to more games, like run more.
Well, you'll definitely get to play in a Starfinder 2e adventure at least, if not a campaign. We will be seeing you again. I guarantee you that. You'll get your chance to play.
Oh, I get a chance to play all the time. It's not that.
Like, I'm saying you'll get a chance to play with a good DM.
Yeah.
See, I can devalue other people too.
I actually have played with some really good GMs. Like, I played in a Wild Beyond the Witchlight game with probably one of the best GMs I've ever played with, and she was like what's that dude, the Mention 20 guy, Brennan Lee Mulligan or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really into the whole YouTube celebrity thing, but I do kind of know him. And she was like a female version of him. She was amazing, and Yeah, and that was a cheap game too. I was like, man, you could be, and I was seat filling, so I was free. I mean, I can't because I don't make a lot. I certainly can't pay.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I just seat fill to help people get their games off the ground. And yeah, that was the first game I'd played in where I thought, man, if I wasn't getting this for free, I would actually pay for it because I really enjoyed it. And that was despite not actually liking one of the other players in the group.
Oh,
It was good
yes.
That's
enough.
always hard to do.
There's always one.
I've had situations like that where you're like, does everyone else hate this guy, or is it just me? Is it because if it's just me, I don't want to feel like the asshole for bringing it up. But
That's a workplace situation. That happens all the time when people are present.
So yeah, no, I've had, but yeah, on the whole, I've probably played in the last maybe 2 years. I've probably played with 20 different GMs,
Oh,
and I would
that's good. That's good.
say
that's a couple.
maybe 2 of them I would be interested in playing with again.
1 out of 10. You can't beat those statistics. So, gentlemen, I think we're at the end of our discussion. Would you please say who you are and where to find your work?
I am Nick Turek. You can't really find me anywhere, but happy to be around when I'm available.
Yeah, I'm Shane Diceknights, and yeah, you can't really find me anywhere either. But yeah, I lurk on the server, and apparently I'm going to be playing in a Starfinder 2 game.
Murder in Metal
Cool.
City.
And I am Iron Bear Jones. You can find me on Blue Sky and on my WordPress blog. Words.
Yes. I'm
You've
Bramble Bear.
inspired me, sir. I am going to try and do a blog as well.
I'm Bramble
I don't know
Bear.
how. Okay.
No, go right ahead.
I was going to say I don't know how long I would actually keep that up, but yeah, it might be a good place for me to order my thoughts.
I'm
Yeah,
Bramble
that's
Bear.
all I'm doing.
Take 3.
Yeah, I do this all the time with my players too. I'm Bramble Bear. You can find me on my YouTube channel in Blue Sky. Also, I lurk in almost every Discord there is talking about Pathfinder and Starfinder. So, if you look in the bees, you'll probably see Bramble. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm looking forward to book 2. Maybe we'll get some Mega Dungeon.